Okay, more problems. Chapter 0.4, pre-algebra, number 37. Let's go. So it's minus 8, x minus 4. All right, so what do they want us to do here? Whenever you see anything next to anything without anything in it, it means multiply. So what this really means is minus 8 times x minus 4. So normally we would solve what's inside the brackets. If you remember, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, and addition and subtraction. That's what we do last. But since like it's not the same, this is like apples and oranges, you can't do that. So what you're going to do is a trick called the distributive property that you can look at the lesson on the YouTube video, check it out 15 minutes and then come back to it. But I'm going to explain to you fast. What happens is that when what's inside the brackets is not the same, what you do is you do this multiplied and then you do this multiplied. So as an example, minus 8 times x equals minus 8x. Minus 8 times minus 4 equals plus 32. All right, so moving along. Whoop. Number 38 now. 38. 3 times 8v plus 9. Once again, 8 something is not the same as 9 nothing. So we have to do what's called the distributive property, whereas you multiply by distributing this bugger here on these two inside the brackets. So let's do it. 3 times 8 equals 24. V plus 3 times plus 9 equals 27. And that is the answer. 39. What I suggest you do is you do the problem before I do it, and then you look at the way I get to the answer, and then you pause where you don't get it. I think that's the best way to study it. 8n, n plus 9. Oh, look at those little buggers here. Look at that, they tried to stump us. So what happens here? Well, this bugger times this, and then this bugger times that. So what you're really doing here is saying 8n times n plus this here, 8n times 9. Well, as an example here, 2 times 2 is really 2 to the second power. N times n is really n to the second power. Right? This is just an example there. It's not really 2, so you don't have to think about these numbers, but it's just to show you how I'm getting the n squared. Times 8, which is equal to 8n squared. Now here we have n times 8n times 9 equals, well, if you take these two here, that's 72, right? 8 times 9 equals 72n times n, or just 72n. I think that should be the answer. Yes, it is. Number 40 now. Number 40. Minus, oh, look at those little buggers. Make it tricky. Plus 9a. All right. So, anytime you see a negative sign next to a bracket, what they're really saying is minus 1 times minus 5 plus 9a. That's what they're saying. So you take this bugger, you multiply it by this bugger, and then you take this guy and you multiply it by this. Notice how I'm swallowing the sign too at the same time. All right, so minus 1 times minus 5 equals 5, right? Two negatives make a positive. And then here, minus 1 times positive 9a equals negative 9a, right? That should be the answer. Yes, it is. All right. Number 40 now. Oh, number 41. 7k minus k plus 6. Okie dokie. So what we're doing is we're taking this guy here, we're multiplying it by this guy here, and then we're taking this guy here, and we're multiplying it by this guy here. Notice I'm swallowing the sign? All right, you always swallow the sign to the left when you're multiplying something inside brackets. So 7k times, let's do it, 7k times negative k. Well, and this times this really equals negative. It's a negative, right? When you're multiplying this, that's positive, times this, that's negative. You're going to end up with a negative expression. So, or a negative number if you want. So minus 7k. K times k is k squared, right? Yes. And then we have 7k times 6. So that's 7k times 6, which is, you do these two, it's 7 times 6 equals 42. So that's plus 42. How do I know it's plus? Because this is positive. K. Is that the right answer? Yes, I got the right answer. All right. So I'm done with that. Number 42 now. I think the best way to do things like these is just to do as many problems as you can. I've noticed when I do math, I have a hard time doing problems. Now, of course, professors who really, I don't know why they do this, is they just want 10-20% of the class to pass. They don't show you enough problems with the work done like I'm doing now. This is the only way to learn it. I mean, if you're not great in math, this is the only way to learn it, is to do problems. Try it yourself, then look at the solution that I'm doing and look at where you went wrong and find out where you went wrong. If you do that like, I don't know, 200 times, you're eventually going to get it. So 10x, okay, so once again, we're distributing this guy and we're multiplying this with this, and then this with this. A note, you're always taking the sign to the left of the number. Notice the one here has no sign. There's no sign here. When there is no sign, you assume it is positive. So 10x times 1. Anything times 1 is the same thing, so it's 10x. So I'm going to put 10x here. 10x plus 2x, which is 10x times 2x, which is 10x times 2x. So the 10, let's combine the like terms. So 10 and 2 is 20. Let's put a 20 here. 20x times x, right? I just eliminated these two and made a 20. Now, x times x equals x squared, right? And since there's nothing there, it's a positive. So 10x plus 20x squared. We can assume this is positive, right? I didn't write it, but when there's nothing in front to the left of that number, it means it's positive. And is that the right answer? Yes, it is. Number 43 now. Minus 6. 1 plus 6x. All right. So I'm going to take a look at this minus 6. We're going to multiply it by 1 or positive 1, right? There's nothing to the left. And then, so boom. And then we're going to take the negative 6 and we're going to multiply it by the, positive 6x. All right. Minus 6 times plus 1 equals minus 6. And then minus 6 times 6x. Let's do like, let's see what that gives us. Times 6x. Combine the like terms. That's minus 36x. So it's minus 6 minus 36x. Is that the right answer? Yes, it is. 43? No, I just did 43. 44 minus 2n plus 1. Alrighty. It's a little bit easier. I take this guy right here and multiply it by this guy and then multiply it by this guy. Alright, so minus 2 times n is minus 2n, right? Because this is really 2 times n. And then minus 2 times plus 1 is minus 2. That is the answer. Tough. I know it's tough at the beginning, but I don't know why. As hard as I found this, by doing a million of them, I eventually found it easy. And I don't know why. You eventually find this relatively easy. 8m times, all right, so let's do this again. What are we multiplying? This guy, then this guy, and then we're multiplying this guy. So 8n times 5, that's 40m, and then 8m times negative m, so that's 8m times negative m. So now let's take a look at this now. That's an interesting one. What's on the left of this m? 8. What's on the left of this m? Negative. What is that really? Negative 1. So let's rewrite it. 8m times negative 1m. You'll never see this. Negative 1m and negative m is the exact same thing. So, well, let's look at it this way. Here. Negative 1 times 8 equals negative 8. M times m equals m squared. 40m minus 8m squared. That is the answer. All right. 46 now. Negative 2p times 9, p minus 1. All right, let's look at this killer problem. All right, so I think the best thing to do is to separate this. So what you're doing is this, then this. So what we have is a minus 2 times p, this is what this box is, times 9 times p. So if we combine the like terms, this 9 and this negative 2, if we multiply negative 2 by 9, what do we get? Minus 18. And p times p, so wait a minute, let's just do this. And p times p, p squared. Right? Because 2 times 2 equals 2 squared. Because 3 times 3 equals 3 squared. Because 4 times 4 equals 4 squared. Because p times p equals p squared. All right. And then we have here minus p times minus 1. So any minus times a minus is a positive, plus 2p. And that is the answer. Yes, it is. Let's do number 47 right here. Okay, minus 9x, 4 minus x. Okie dokie. What do we got? What do we got? Let me see here. All right, hold on a sec. This number times this number, and then times this number. So negative 9x times 4. Or if you want, negative 9 times x times 4. Let's combine these to get minus 36. Bring the x right here. Got that? And then negative 9x times negative x, which is really negative 1 times x, as we said before. Let's look at it again. Minus 9x times negative x, which is really minus 9 times x times negative 1 times x, right? Because that negative 1 right here is that negative is really negative 1. We don't put the 1 there. It's implied. All right, so these two buggers right here, negative 9 times negative 1 equals 9. And x times x equals x squared. That is the answer. Number 48 now. 4, 8n minus 2. 4, 8n minus 2. Okie dokie. So that is 4 times 8n equals 32n. And then 8 times negative 2 equals minus 8. And yeah, that's the solution to that problem.